Eurovision. Something I know a lot of you American viewers are probably not that familiar with. I'm going to be making a video today of my top 10 favorite Eurovision songs that are in the actual competition now, since we've pretty much gone through all of the qualifying rounds in all of the countries in Europe, and now with Australia included, that are competing for this year's grand final, which will be in May of this year. I will, after the grand final, or maybe before, I'm not sure yet, make a predictions video. I'll probably do a predictions video before of, the top 10 that they have selected. Obviously, this is my personal favorite, so I'm interested to see how well I do in terms of predicting which ones will be in the top 10, but usually I kind of get things a little differently. I'm not always into what everyone else is into, and there's usually some crossover, but it's it's kind of hard to predict. I mean, who would have thought last year Portugal with Salvador Sobral with a very beautiful, moving acoustic ballad would have swept the winning prize? Was certainly not something I would have seen coming. Eurovision, I've always been aware of it, especially as a teenager onwards, but I only really started paying attention to it in more recent years. And I'll have to say this, I do think it's an interesting competition. As a gay man, obviously, I always live for all the over-the-top drama, costumes, pop music, the glamour, the diva and nature of it. But at the same time, as someone who also likes alternative, I also always am looking for something that's a little bit more unique, that's a little bit more memorable, that stands out, that's well-produced, that actually tells a story, that actually means something and is not just about sex or, partying in the club. I'm always looking for something that has a little bit more to analyze and dissect. That is considered in my top 10 pick. I'll confess that I haven't heard all of the songs in their entirety. I've only heard snippets of all of them, and then I've heard about over half. I'd probably say I've heard 75% of all the 43 entries this year, which is quite a lot. And I don't necessarily need to hear all of it, because the songs that I've heard the longer snippets from, just by listening to the genre of music and getting a feel for the chorus and the structure, I mean, these are 3-minute songs. There's a lot of repetition, a lot of refrains. It's not like there's some elaborate thing missing, hidden in a song. You hear a good minute 30 of it, you've heard the whole song. Just because of the genre, or because the production or the singing or what have you, turned me off immediately. There were several songs this year, as there always are, that I heard snippets and I was like, nope, this is not for me. I don't need to know anymore. And trust me, I don't like to write off songs that easily, but I can pretty much say a safe bet that, mainly because of the genre, there were some heavy metal offerings this year that I was definitely not all about. And I'm very interested to show you, because I also decided this year, instead of just doing the top 10, that I would also talk about my least favorite songs. I feel like Eurovision is about the good, but it's also about the really, really bad. And this year, I will be honest, I've followed it for a few years now. I'm not so over the top about the selection this year as a whole. I really do feel like, it wasn't too hard for me to find the ones that stood out, but it did take a little bit of oh, I'm really gonna have to put that in my top 10. It wasn't that good. But then I realized that there were so many other ones that are worse, and I was like, ooh. It's hard, and maybe because some of these songs need to grow on you, but I found it a lot easier to find songs I didn't like than songs I did. And I would say that that's not so surprising with Eurovision, but I wasn't expecting it to be this easy to find the worst songs. And I actually couldn't just give it to one song, so I actually will show my second least favorite and my least favorite. Because there were 2 songs that really stood out that, knowing this world, will probably do actually really well in this competition, but they would not if I was running the show. They would definitely not be going anywhere. So I'm going to start out by revealing those 2 songs. Get ready, I hope I don't offend anyone. I'm going to start by revealing my second least favorite, and trust me, this song, it was really my least favorite for quite a while, and then one song came up that I was like, you know what, I probably should put this as my least favorite, even though I desperately wanted to put this song as my least favorite. The second least favorite song is... Just gonna hide myself all the time. Yes, Once upon a time, Sweden put out amazing pop songs. They were ruling the airwaves, but not this year. Benjamin Ingrosso's Dance You Off is Sweden's entry for this year. It was just selected from Melodifestivalen. Oh boy, did I roll my eyes at this entry. This is Justin Bieber to the max. And it's not the good parts about that, it's all the bad. It's the auto-tune, it's the cheap lyrics, it's the lazy production. There are songs that are a little bit more fuckboy in this competition, but at least they sound good. At least they sound catchy. They're at least guilty pleasures. This song is not a guilty pleasure. This song is just boring, it's painful, and again, I'm not that big a fan to begin with of songs that are just about getting in girls' pants. Don't get me wrong, I understand sex sells and it's a thing in the pop music. You know, fast food music is a part of this competition. I'm not looking too deep, but Sweden just definitely did not offer something that was very nutritious in this song, in my opinion. However, there was another song that, because of the construction of it, I had to actually highlight it as bumping it into the actual worst category and not putting Dance You Off in the worst category, believe it or not. And that would come from Poland with their song Light Me Up.
So help me now. Light me up now, baby. Light me up, tell me where to go. Light me up now, baby. Light me up and tell me where to go. Tell me where to go.
If you've ever heard of the millennial whoop, it's a term that is used in pop music now, especially by reviewers, to describe the sort of derivative and repetitive sound that vocalists will make to cop out a chorus or a refrain. If you think, for instance, Good Time by Carly Rae Jepsen featuring Owl City, that's a perfect example of it, you know, with the Light Me Up, the chorus is entirely that. There is no lyrics for the bulk of the chorus. It's a very hard DJ set kind of song, but it is just the most basic in terms of production. It's very basic electronic dance music, and I'm not even the biggest fan of EDM, and so the fact that this song just is like the worst of all of that, the mixing is terrible, the voices, their vocals, it's just shouting. It's a very generic song. It's just very derivative and silly. And I mean, I get that it's meant to amp you up and hype you up, but it's just so vanilla and bland. So this makes my absolute worst, just because I think the song construction is so lazy. There's nothing here that's bringing me back. Okay, let's stop talking about the worst. I'm going to talk about my top 10, but before I get to it, I do want to shout out 5 songs that are honorable mentions. So I'm really kind of revealing my top 15 here. So I will play the top 5, and these are in the correct order. I view them as 15, 14, 13, 12, and 11. The 5 songs that almost made it into the top 10, and believe me, it took a lot of time for me to get a lot about these, but they just didn't quite have that thing that made them top 10 material, or there were just better songs. So my honorable mention songs for this year will be
Ya no puedo inventarlo. Siento que bailo por primera vez. Eres el arte que endulza la piel de mi mente viajera que sigue tus pies. Siento πως θες να σου το πω, πως για σένα εγώ θα πεθαίνα, τη ζωή μου θα στην έδινα, τέλος και αρχή όλα είσαι εσύ. Όσο κι αν πονώ, απ' το χαρτί δεν θα σε σβηνά, τη ζωή μου θα στην έδινα, τέλος και αρχή όλα είσαι εσύ. Freeze the arrow in the air, make your mark and leave it hanging there. Be the first to turn around, take the leap to land on higher ground. No need to worry, rain falling down, it's our happy story, and there's no one around. We will go for
So let's dive into my top 10. Coming in at number 10, we have...
Don't we go against the tide? Against all their advice, we keep running, we keep on running. It's just a matter of time. Before it all echoes and goes, crashing against the walls. Hold my hand and keep your eyes.
So we have A Matter of Time by Belgium by artist Cynique. I'm not sure how to pronounce, by the way, most of these names, so please forgive me. I'm probably going to butcher all of them. This is a really kind of avant-garde pop song. It's a little bit alternative, and I love that about it. The melody is not immediately grabbing. It sort of slowly reveals itself. The music video and the visuals are so beautifully photographic. The colors, the imagery juxtaposed against other imagery. The song speaks about finding beauty in the transience and the heartbreak of life. Sometimes we long for the unspoken. We try to avoid every commotion. By showing hardly any emotion. Sometimes it seems we're at the wrong station, looking for a deadly combination. Why don't we go against the tide, against all of their advice? We keep running. It's just a matter of time. Because the song just is so self-aware in its lyrics, and because it is so poignant, I had to highlight it as one of my top 10s. It was just one of the songs that had this more interesting sort of atmosphere to it that's a bit dark, but still very mainstream pop, that I think could be a really successful song for Belgium this year. Although personally, I don't know if this song is necessarily going to go that far. I don't know if it necessarily has the big belting choruses or the memorable fashion or moments that makes these songs sort of elevated above the rest. But it certainly stood out for me as a unique and very strong vocal performance. Coming in at number 9, we have...
Just like you're smart. So, Wonder Woman, don't you ever forget. You're divine and he's about to regret. He's a I'm not your toy, not your...
So we have a new genre of music this year in Eurovision. You know, we've got pop, we've got heavy metal, we've got opera, we've got, you know, classical, we've got, you know, some hip hop, we got some urban, we got EDM, but we have a new genre called chicken. Chicken is a newer genre of music, but it's actually been around for quite some time. And one of the artists who is bringing that to the mainstream would be Israeli artist Netta Barzilai. So what is chicken? Well, you kind of just got an idea if you watch the video for her song Toy. Oh my god. Now, not only does she make chicken sounds, but she makes what sounds like a Pikachu sound to not only just like some very, very hard, edgy beatboxing sounds. She is just having fun. And trust me, if this song doesn't get any other award, it gets the most memorable award. You cannot forget this song and the sort of WTF look on your face that you will have after watching it. It's clever. And I think that's what makes it actually stand out ultimately. It could have gone really bad. This song could have just been a joke, but also fallen flat on its face. This song isn't a joke. This song is actually very serious. It's addressing misogyny. It's addressing sexism in a very playful way. I'm not your toy, you stupid boy. Mother bucking beat. I mean, she really toys around with getting very explicit. And this song has that edgy quality. I mean, you can tell Netta's by her persona is just a badass. I love the costumes. I love the visuals, the choreography. It's so weird and strange. I know, it's like Meghan Trainor meets Björk. It's a very strange combination of visuals and vocals. But hey, it works. And I don't necessarily know if it's going to win or do that well in the competition, but I definitely wanted to include it in my top 10. This song I keep thinking about, and it just makes me smile. And I do like the pre-chorus, where she does let her voice actually get very classical and very melodic as we build into the more EDM, Israeli-influenced Eastern Hebrew instrumental, which does harken back to her own culture, which I do love. Some of the songs I have selected for my top 15 were kind of standing out because I felt like they were embracing something about their culture. For instance, I already highlighted a song in the honorable mentions, the Greece one. It felt very Greek. They were using Greek culture and music to prop up their song. Or like in the Danish entry, they were using Viking chants and traditional Viking melody and instruments to create a sort of vibe that represents the culture of that country's history. The song was actually written by a gay composer as well, which is pretty cool. So it's a hit or miss song. Some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to love it. And this song has been getting a lot of love. I do think it will definitely be in the top 20. It stands to be a bold, fun song that has an important message behind it, that will get you dancing, that will get you scratching your head, that will make you think, oh, okay, well, who would have thought you could do this in music? But you can. And that's what I think Eurovision is all about. It's all about a bit the avant-garde. It's not necessarily, I think, about being like everyone else, even though some people may think that's all it is. Coming in at number 8, we have...
There were troubles in the water. You swore it was nothing. You said that we would always stay afloat. Why would true love look me in the eye and lie? I thought we'd be together till we die. I'll forever wonder why. I thought we'd be together till we die.
This song had to have a high spot in my listing just because of the visuals. These are 2 gay men openly celebrating their love in the streets of Dublin. The song, this is of course the song Together by Irish singer Ryan O'Shaughnessy, has this very calming, at-home, soothing feel to it. It's very acoustic guitar laden. It's very Ed Sheeran, and I don't mind it. I first thought maybe it was a little too simplistic. Of course, learning about the story behind it made it more interesting to me. Although I don't believe Ryan himself is a gay man, the fact that he chose these 2 dancers to be represented in the music video is such a smart thing to do, especially considering Ireland is actually a little bit behind some other countries in Europe in terms of LGBT rights, thanks to the Catholic Church. And so the fact that they're still going to sort of use that as their message to deliver to Lisbon in this year's competition is great. It has already been banned in Russia because of the video, so you're doing something right if you're getting banned in Russia at this point, unfortunately. It's just the way it is. Although it could borderline on saccharine, this song is just, it's very smooth. It's very crystalline. The vocals are very heartfelt. His falsettos are cute. I can't help but fall in love for this simplistic but beautiful heartfelt track. Coming in at number 7, we have...
I was looking for some high highs, yeah, till I got it 'cause of you. You got me belly can fly, 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 yeah. Taking me higher, yeah, 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 yeah. 'Cause I'm burning up and I ain't cooling down. Yeah, I got the fire, yeah, 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 yeah. Fuego.
Okay, mommy, let's turn up the heat here. So I know that this song may be considered by many to be junk food music, but don't get me wrong, we need a good junk food music song to represent us in Eurovision. We need one that has a catchy as hell melody, with a fierce music video, with beastly choreography, with just this badass vibe that actually works. There are a lot of other songs that try and fail and fall flat on their feet, in my opinion. But Eleni Foureira with Fuego from Cyprus brings the heat, as you would expect from a title called Fire, to the table. And I love this song. The more I hear it, the more I get addicted to it, and I almost want to buy it on iTunes. It's such a fun dance song. I could see this song doing really well. Who knows? Apparently, she's actually a Greek artist who decided to jump ship to go to Cyprus because Greece was not giving her the limelight she wanted. There was some kind of thing. I don't know. But I don't care. She's doing a good job. She's doing something right. I mean, she is definitely giving the Beyonce vibe. She's definitely going for that, mixed with Jennifer Lopez. And hey, you know, it's a formula that works, and it's going to get views. And it's a fun song. It's not overtly explicitly sexual either, even though, you know, the teasing and the costuming, it's sensual, but I don't find it to be too overtly sexual for my taste. Again, I don't have much more to say than that, but just because of the catchy as hell melody, I know it's a processed song with vocal processing and all of that, but come on, I mean, this is Eurovision here. This isn't like a folk singing competition. This song is for the gays, and I think this is every gay's favorite song for this year. Just saying. Okay, so now we enter the top 5. We're getting a little more serious here. Coming in at number 5, we have...
Agora que não estás, rego eu teu jardim. São as flores o meu lugar. Agora que não estás, rego eu teu jardim.
Coming in at number 5, Claudio Pasquale, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Au Jardim, which I believe means Oh Garden or The Garden, I'm not sure, from Portugal. Now, of course, Portugal is hot off the heels of Salvador Sobral's winning song last year, which is, of course, bringing the competition home to Lisbon for the first time in Eurovision history. And I think Portugal is doing something right by sending this song. It was a huge fan favorite to win for their country. And I can see why. This is a very bittersweet, beautiful, hushed vocal performance by this woman, Claudia. Her vocals are a little bit unrefined, and there's that timidness to it that translates, I think, beautifully into the sort of eerie and ambient nature of the song. It's produced in a distinct way from a traditional ballad. It's not a ballad, so to speak. It has the rumblings of some EDM ambient track that almost feels like it wants to build, and maybe I do feel like the song could build a little bit more. It is a little bit on the same monotone scale in terms of sound and dynamics. It doesn't change in pitch too often, but at the same time, it's a vibe song. It's just about an emotion, and it's a very mournful one. It's a very reflective one. This song is dedicated to the writer's grandmother who passed away last year, so it's a bit like a lament or a eulogy. Now that you're not here, I'm the one who waters your garden. That sentiment is carried through in the broken vocals that she gives. It's one of the most emotional performances of all of them on this roster. And although maybe it might not be the most memorable sonically, the emotion behind it and the minimalism and the focus of everyone's eyes being on this singer as she delivers it has to give it a notable position in my top 10, because I really do believe this song could go the distance. I'm just not entirely sure if it will ultimately rise up above all the other songs that are more showy, and especially since, you know, Portugal's already had their moment, some may say. But I do believe that this song has that potential, and so that's why it's on my list here. Coming in at number 4, we have...
Գոյությունս փակելով իրենու Քամի Այդ ուր ես տարել Տակ իմ հուշերը Քամի
Number 5, we have a song called Kami by Sevak Kanagyan. From Armenia. This song is a power ballad. It's something that you could belt in those beautiful, robust male vocals of his. We haven't had an official music video released yet, but I think it's coming in 1 or 2 days. But his live performance, although it doesn't quite match the studio recording, in my opinion, usually that is the case with these sort of more stripped back vocal songs, this has the power to fill an arena. His vocals are so raw and powerful. He hits the notes very well. I love that it's sung in Armenian. I'm not sure how many actual songs have been submitted to Eurovision sung in Armenian. It's a very sort of unfamiliar language to so many people. And you translate the lyrics, I mean, it is such a heartfelt, bittersweet song. Deaf and dumb wind, when the soul is deep in the abyss, my friend becomes lonely. What value does your love have? He gives this simple question. In the clouds, they take your image. What are the crazy wounds that opened your love? By closing myself. Wind, wind, where did you take my warm memories? Wind, give me wings to follow you. I close my eyes and it seems that I see the path that leads you. Such delicate and eloquent songwriting. So I think because of the, personal factor and the powerful vocals, I think this song could go really far. And I had a lot of trouble ranking this in my top 5. I honestly could have put it even higher. This song I would love to see actually, win the whole thing. I think it's got, the emotion behind it that makes it so powerful. Coming in at number 3, we have...
You go running away from love, ain't nobody but you I can hold on to. So am I wrong, giving my all, making you stay tonight? Ain't nobody but you I can hold on to. Hey, Lord, I'm gonna bring you back tonight. Oh, you're right.
At number 3, we have a song called Nobody But You by Cesar Sampson. This is from Austria. So you get in this song such rich Sam Smith sounding vocals with a really strong choral melody that really feels earnest and it feels like it's really progressing somewhere. Some of these songs in this competition, it wants to do something so grand and it just falls flat. But I feel like this song has the right formula to create a really powerful, soulful pop song. And I think it carries very beautifully. I mean, the vocals are so raw and unprocessed. The music video is also the best music video of the whole competition. I always want to give an award or a shout out to the best music video. And the visuals with the black and white imagery, the image distortions, the overlays, the interesting light effects. This video has so much to digest and so much to process. So it's a real visual treat that has a lot of rich meaning and abstract conceptual weight to it. I hope this song does really well in the competition. I'd really like to see it win if it does. Coming in at number 2.
If you got a minute, get down your idea. It might do wonders, maybe disappear. Who knows? Just get it down and nothing can go wrong. Go find your rhythm, that's how you write a song. Enjoy the small things, with time they will get big.
So I wasn't entirely sure if this song was absolutely deserving of my second spot, but I can't help coming back to this song. Now, Alexander Rybak is a veteran to Norway and to Eurovision. In 2009, he won the contest with his song Fairy Tale, and I remember watching that performance and thinking he was so handsome. His fiddle and his personality and charisma and his very rich vocal, I think just are so well suited to Eurovision. And so he comes back with a song called That's How You Write a Song for Norway this year. And I gotta be honest, I mean, maybe at the beginning I first was like, oh, this is cute, but I don't think this is necessarily that special. But there is something about the production and the masterful way this song was composed that I can see this song easily dominating any radio. I mean, this song is so catered to that. And I do think that the fiddle incorporated with the sort of Bruno Mars style beat is just, I think, actually really catchy and infectious. There's a positive energy also to this song. Instead of this song trying so hard to cater to youth of today by like including dabs or including, hip hop or all of these things. It's just trying to be a fun song that brings people together, which is, I think, always a staple of a great Eurovision top 10 song. And so ultimately I get this very sort of universalistic kind of feel from the song. It's not just about how you write a song, it's about how you get people to come together and dance and have fun together and celebrate. And the celebratory nature of it, I just think gives it that edge and that upper hand. So maybe it shouldn't be number 2. Maybe it should be a little further down my list. Honestly, these top 5 songs are almost interchangeable, although I do have a very clear number 1. That is definitely right to the top. But honestly, I just felt like this song had to come somewhere really high up. I would love to see, other artists win. I don't necessarily like seeing the same artists win over and over again, but obviously if an artist has the talent and the chops, then it should go to who has that. And if Norway takes it home again this year, I wouldn't be too surprised, and I guess I wouldn't be that angry. But number 1 was one I definitely believe in. This song is definitely my favorite. It's the one song out of all of these that I would definitely put in my music playlists. It is...
On a quitté la maison, c'était la guerre. Sûr qu'elle avait raison, y avait rien à perdre.
Mercy by Madame Monsieur is the song for France this year, and I fell in love with it upon first listen, and that's usually what makes the song my #1 pick. Out of listening to all the samples, it's the first one that stands out in my memory. I just love the eerie production to it. I love the alternative pop style. I love the little bit of house music influence in the background, the production, the clear vocal, the message behind it. This song tells the story of a girl named Mercy. Not Merci, thank you. I know it sounds like that's what they're saying, but it's actually Mercy, the name. Who was born on a humanitarian rescue boat in the middle of the ocean. And this is, of course, hearkening to the European immigrant crisis. I was born this morning, my name is Mercy, far out at sea between two countries. It was a long path and Mum walked it. She had me in her skin 8.5 months. Oh yes, 8.5 months. We left home, it was at war. Sure, she had it right, there was nothing to lose. Oh no, apart from life. My name is Mercy, they lent me a hand, and I am alive. And I am all of those children whom the sea took away. I'll live 100,000 years. My name is Mercy. So the anthem for the dispossessed immigrant, or for the child who was taken away from their family because of war, taken away from their home because of war. This is such an important song for this day and age, and coupled with just an amazing killer beat and this eerie, beautiful melody, I had to give this song all of the awards, so to speak, and it is my winner for Eurovision. Whether this song actually does deliver, I'm not sure. If people are going to flock to this song, it's a little bit more down-tempo. It's not necessarily a dance song, but it almost is. But who knows? I'd really love to see it go in that direction. I mean, it does have the EDM backings and the interesting production and the vocals and, you know, obviously the message that could really make it a big song for Eurovision. Though personally, I don't know if this song is going to actually win. Usually my top favorites do not win these competitions because I have different things that I'm looking for from, you know, the actual competition itself. So it's my top pick to win. It's my favorite song. What I'm most excited is for you guys in the comments to tell me what your top 10 songs are, or even more if you want, and what you think about the songs that I've mentioned or other songs that you feel like should have been included. Let's talk about it, because I am so interested in Eurovision and all of the different styles of music that are represented and all of the different messages that are being put across. It's just such an interesting conglomeration to celebrate music, and it's such an interesting competition that I wish Americans knew more about, because honestly, I don't necessarily think America deserves to be a part of Eurovision, but I definitely feel like it's important to be aware of what's going on with it. That being said, there is also a lot of fluff, so, you know, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be interested to see how these, how my predictions, well, they're not really predictions, remember, these are my personal picks, but I'd be interested to see which ones rise to the top in the May final. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Bye!